Hey, welcome back to the DCD podcast. It is episode 2, and we don't really have a formal intro yet.
Nope.
So it is me, Alex, aka Purple Swordfish, and my great co-host, Andy, aka ATH. How you doing, Andy?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. And thanks for being flexible on the recording time this week.
Well, it's actually kind of beneficial to me, to be honest.
Oh, really? You got stuff going on, huh?
And no, my sleep schedule is completely
Ah.
messed up. My original plan is just not to sleep and then record this.
Oh, okay.
And then you were like, "How about we record it later?" So it's like, "All right, I'm just gonna take a nap."
Well, there you go. It worked out just fine. Well, that's good. I mean, you work retail. It's basically kind of like retail, right? I mean, it's a customer service position, and I know the hours that come with it are. Well, what is it? Why are you making that face?
I
If you're
was like,
listening,
what kind of metaphor are you trying to make?
I'm not trying to make a metaphor. I was making small talk about how I take it for granted because when I worked in retail, I worked crazy
I worked
hours.
Like 1 a.m.
See,
I worked at 1 a.m. and then
that's
play
insane.
play FIFA or something until 7 a.m. and then go to bed.
FIFA, huh? Been playing a lot of FIFA lately.
I've been playing a lot of FIFA recently.
Yeah. So how was your
was your
week?
week?
Oh, geez. Oh, man.
Oh God.
We're like a couple now. We think of the same thing here. I
How
mean,
was your week?
my week was pretty good, man. It was busy, but it was pretty good. It was the first full week where I didn't touch Madden at all. And I know that sounds weird, but like as a content creator who was very reliant on Madden for content creation all that time, it's kind of weird not booting the game. I don't think I've booted the game up in like 6 days,
I don't
7
have it
days, something like
downloaded.
that. Yeah, I did see a couple of my friends say they were uninstalling it. Had some people in the stream say they were uninstalling it. They're also
Speaking of
friends.
Madden,
Yeah.
I did pre-order Madden 19 today.
Really? Yeah, I did that. I did that last weekend. Believe it or not, I went to Best Buy. Fun story about that. I went to Best Buy. Wanted to pre-order the World of Warcraft Special Edition, and
Azeroth, whatever it's
yeah, Battle for Azeroth. I'm really looking forward to it. And well, you know that if you follow the podcast or even my streams, but yeah, I go there and I'm like, yeah, I want to get the special edition, and the girl goes, so which World of Warcraft? And I'm like, oh no. I've got in touch with somebody who has no idea.
Yeah.
And she's like, I have to find the SKU on my phone and then I have to type it into the computer. I'm like, this is not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna be able to pre-order. And long story short, she scrolled through every World of Warcraft out there and couldn't get it to work. Called over a manager. The manager just told me I was basically SOL. Your SOL buddy, and you're just gonna have to pre-order online, do in-store pickup. But other than that, busy week, but a good week. How was your week?
I mean, I worked a bit. I kind of got roasted at work. It's kind of the first topic I want to get into, but I'll hold that for a second. I've been playing a lot of FIFA
Yeah.
and Pokemon, which may be about what I'm getting roasted about. And I mean, overall, you've been playing Far Cry. How are you doing that?
Yeah, that's all I've been playing lately is Far Cry 5. Very good game. Highly recommend it. It's on sale right now, I think.
From what I'm seeing, you're kind of bad at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
thought
one
you
of
were
those
struggling.
it's one of those things where like Far Cry 2, Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, I felt like I was really good at those games. But then again, I wasn't playing in front of anybody. And I really didn't have anything because it's a single player game primarily. So I really didn't have anything to go against, right? Because I'm not playing against anybody. But as I've been streaming, and I'm like, wow, I look like an idiot. Like you could probably sell somebody on, hey, this guy's never played Far Cry before. I think the other thing is like it's difficult. It's one of those games that is actually pretty difficult to play and concentrate on chat to an extent. But I definitely am not MLG pro at Far Cry, even though it's not a competitive game. But why are you getting roasted at work? I have to hear about this.
All right, so I've been playing Pokemon. All right, I've been playing my favorite one, Pokemon Fire Red.
Good choice.
You start off with Generation 1 starters.
Yeah.
So before I say who I chose with the starters, I gotta know your take. Who's your Generation 1 starter? Squirtle, Charmander, or Bulbasaur?
See, I was a Charmander guy.
All right. So I know I'm gonna pick Charmander. I was like, I'm gonna change it up. I picked Bulbasaur. First up, I thought Charmander was like the pick that everyone picked. We asked 17 people I worked with. All but 2 said Squirtle and were roasting me because I picked Bulbasaur.
You know what we're gonna do? I'm interested to know. I'm gonna run a poll on our Twitter and
All right.
see what the Gen 1 starter of choice is, because I'm with you. I thought that Charmander rather.
Like, I thought that was the pick that everyone did.
I thought it was always I always thought it was Charmander, Squirtle, then Bulbasaur, because one of my very good friends, the show The Reason I'm Broke, you know him. He's like hardcore Bulbasaur fan. Like he loves Bulbasaur. He thinks it's the coolest starter. I believe he actually has a Bulbasaur tattoo. I mean, like, that is how committed he is to that Pokemon. And it is a great one. Like, I like all the starters. So, like, the second time I played Pokemon, I believe I went with Bulbasaur as my starter instead of Charizard or Charmander.
There was like I forgot who made it. There's a YouTube video I watched. It's like easiest starter to play through the Generation 1. And based off of the gym leaders, the random NPCs you face in Elite Four, Bulbasaur technically is the easiest way to get through the game.
Really?
Is using Bulbasaur.
See, I thought it would have been Charmander.
Because the first gym is Rock, and
True.
Bulbasaur goes straight through that. The second gym's Water. Bulbasaur right through that. By the time you get through that, you obviously have other people to help you out.
Fair point.
But then
Fair point.
Charmander's, gets wrecked by both Rock and Water. But he doesn't learn Metal Clot 13, which helps with the Rock.
See, but for some reason, I always had it in my head that Charmander was maybe the easiest. But maybe it was because when I went to school, it was the most popular one, by far. Most kids had Pokemon. See, I'm going, like, straight up original Pokemon here that I'm talking about.
Like red and blue.
Yeah, most kids had red, not blue. I had red. My brother Randy had blue.
I played
which was
yellow.
Great. Oh, yellow. Yellow was that was a little bit later, but
yeah.
Many people I knew bought
you get
yellow.
all the starters.
Wait, what?
You start with Pikachu in yellow. You can go and catch all the starters.
Well, that's how they sold yellow. I mean, I'm old enough to remember this, like when it was brand new. But I remember most people already have blue or red. But they released yellow, and because it was two things. You start off with Pikachu. Pikachu obviously became this like huge sensation over here in the States. It really became kind of the unofficial mascot, if you will, of Pokemon. And then it had two things. You started with Pikachu, and then he also followed you around in the game.
Yeah.
And people were losing their minds over that. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool. I never played Yellow. I had a friend who had it, but I never played it personally. Wow. I can't believe people are roasting you at work for Pokemon choice.
Yeah, it was like, well, I mean, like I work at a movie theater, so you can kind of assume the type of people that work there. So, I mean, like, we're all into video games and stuff like that, and I'm getting roasted for picking Bulbasaur.
Gotta be honest, if at my place of work, I think that if I were to talk Pokemon, everybody would be like, Pokewhatty? And then that would be the end of it. Like, it would not be...
Like,
I guess you work with a lot of people that are kind of close to your age range, right? Or
yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I'm, like, super into the stuff, but, like, it's not even close to them. Like, everyone at work is, like, super into anime and, like, a whole bunch of stuff. And, like, I know nothing about anime. I've watched the first season Dragon Ball Z, and that's it.
You should check out... not a real big anime guy myself, but one that I watched recently that I really liked was One Punch Man.
Yeah.
I think you would like that one.
That's on my list. So it's like Afro Samurai, My Hero Academia, I think is the new big one.
Yeah, that's a really good one. See, because like One Punch Man kind of got me back into anime. I kind of fell out of it. I really wasn't watching much of it. I caught One Punch Man on Toonami one night, just fell in love with it, went back, watched. I think I came into it maybe episode 5 or 6, right? Yeah. Really got into it, and I'm like, I want to watch all of it. So I went back, I watched all of them, and then it was on my DVR, and I was watching them as soon as they would come out on Adult Swim or Toonami or whatever. But My Hero Academia, like I was watching that, and that's another one where I need to go back now because it's really good.
That's super popular on Twitter.
It's very popular. It's very mainstream. I realize I'm one of them basic basic people who likes the mainstream anime. I don't like the really weird stuff. I shouldn't call it weird. It's art, but I just
Hentai is art. What?
well, that's that
You ever watched
office.
The Office?
That's the
Yeah.
office joke. Yeah, it's hentai and it's called art. I love that one. That's pretty cool. So, like, while we're talking about you working in a movie theater, I got to ask you,
Yeah.
because we were going to talk about this later, but I figured this is a good segue. Movie Pass, right? I've heard conflicting things over the last couple of weeks from some people who know people that work in movie theaters, some people who work directly for a movie theater, and I've heard varying opinions. Like, Movie Pass, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing for movie theaters in terms of just the business?
From what it is right now, and it's not cutting into concessions, I think it's good. It gets people there. Because honestly, like, I don't know why the movie theater cares, because they don't make money off the tickets at all. Like, I think my boss said, like, it barely makes enough to pay the lighting bill.
Yeah. That's what
how
I've
much
heard.
they make off tickets. So basically, it's all concessions, and free tickets. People come out more often than they want to, because I think it's like the average is people go 4 times a year. The average family. So if you have 1 free ticket a month, everyone wants to go. And also, I like it because at least in where I work is they're starting like monthly subscriptions for the theaters to like go with it, where it's like instead of it being like a ticket, it's like 1 ticket a month and 20% off concessions. People like double up on that, and like you get more people coming.
From your experience, again, this is just one movie theater, so this is not necessarily a microcosm for the whole industry, but like from your experience, is the typical Movie Pass customer more of a pain in the ass? Excuse my language. By the way, we got to keep our podcast clean on that.
Yeah.
I made some promises to some people. Anyway, so like they're more of a pain or less or just the same?
I mean, like, I don't know. The people that are paying are generally old people on Sundays. I live in the Bible Belt, so right after church they got to go watch that God's Not Dead 3.
Well, that's funny though, because you were telling me that sold pretty well at your movie theater.
Dude, at one point, okay, we have Avengers, biggest movie of the year, arguably. Doesn't compare to God's Not Dead 3 at all. Then there was I Can Only Imagine, and there was another one. It was like Noah or something like that. There was 3 Christian movies at the same time.
Yeah.
It didn't even compare to Avengers. Like, that was the worst I've ever experienced.
God's Not Dead 3 didn't really have a huge advertising budget, but what I will say is
if you watch the first 2, you'd like the third one.
Well, exactly, right? It kind of like the fan base it's got a little bit of a following in a way, right?
I'm not trying to make anyone mad, but they're, as like a film standpoint, they're kind of bad. Like, they're garbage movies.
No, they look pretty bad.
They're awful.
Like the first one had oh God, what's his name? He was Hercules, Kevin something. Forget his name. It'll come to me later. But he was the guy who played Hercules in the TV show in the 90s. And I was like, oh, wow, he's in a movie. And then I saw the rest of the trailer and I'm like, he's in a, I was like, he's in a bad movie. That's why he's in the movie. And then like it did really well. I want to say it did well financially because they did 2 more. But when I saw the trailer for the third one, I'm like, wow, I didn't know they were up to 3. But then I thought immediately, I'm like, I bet that sells like hotcakes at Andy's movie theater.
Dude, it sucks.
Yeah.
There's the benefit. There's not a big movie the rest of the year. Like, there is like blockbuster movies, but there's nothing that massive.
Yeah.
For some, like, Avengers was bad, but like Ant-Man, no one cares. Venom, in my area, no one really cares. So
I don't think Venom's going to be that big of a deal.
I don't think it's going to be good.
And you know what kind of irritates me about it is that there were a lot of, and first off, I want to be really clear here. I don't have anything against Marvel or DC movies. Like, I enjoy them all.
Yeah.
Don't really have any bias there. I would say I probably lean more towards the Marvel side because I know more Marvel characters because that's what I read as a kid. But I did read, Superman. I talked about this in episode 1. But, the Venom movie, I feel like Spider-Man's fan base, maybe it's because I know a bunch of Spider-Man fans, like, man, they should do Venom. They should give Venom a movie. And I was always like, I don't know how you would fill that. Like, he's not really that complex of a character. I know he looks cool.
he benefits from Spider-Man being there.
Exactly.
Like the whole character concept is because Spider-Man's there, and Spider-Man's not in the movie. It's just Venom.
Because the way I always looked at Venom was, so Spider-Man gets the abilities, right?
Symbiote.
And yeah, and like when Spider-Man got his abilities, he used it for good, right? Because Uncle Ben and all that, right? Great power comes great responsibility, that whole thing. And then Venom to me was kind of like the foil, if you will, right? He is an average guy, but he's the guy who would use it to his own personal benefit. So he's not inherently evil, but he's also not like completely good either. He is kind of the anti-hero if he were to get the symbiote. But anyway, I don't think it's going to do that well, and I think it's kind of a shame because it's like I feel like this fan base asked for this movie for years, and now they're just kind of they're just disinterested in it now.
You got a perfect Venom in Spider-Man 3.
No, you didn't. Oh, Andy.
Topher Grace over Tom Hardy.
I remember I saw Spider-Man 3. I was working at GameStop at the time, and I'm like, I have to go see this movie before idiots spoil it for me. Because when I worked at GameStop, people would come in the store, and they would like, hey, man, I just saw Spider-Man 3. I can't believe... I don't really remember anything crazy that happened.
Sandman killed the...
Exactly, stuff like that. And anyway, like I was like, I got to see it. I don't want this to be spoiled because I love Spider-Man 1. I love Spider-Man 2. I like the Tobey Maguire trilogy. I do. I realize it's not great, but I did like it. And I remember I saw it, and I was like, I really want to like Venom. And I really want to see Topher Grace do well with it, but it was the one thing that stuck out. I was like, I just don't like it. Just didn't like it.
I think Spider-Man 3 gets too much hate than it deserves, though.
I came away from the movie enjoying it. I enjoyed the movie.
People treat it like it's complete garbage, but it's better than all the Amazing Spider-Men. Like the Andrew, what's his name? Andrew Garfield?
Yeah, Garfield.
Yeah. The third one's better than all of his movies.
I like the first Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man. I like that one. Spider-Man. The second one, didn't care for it as much.
But Spider-Man Homecoming.
Haven't seen it yet.
I'm out of the loop, Spider-Man movie coming out this year too.
Yeah.
The Miles Morales Spider-Man movie.
I'm looking forward to that. I think it's good. I think the Miles Morales story arc is something that they could get. It's a way to get more mileage out of the Spider-Man character, and then I also think from a representation standpoint, I think it does mean a lot to a lot of people, and I think that's important too. So I hope it does well. Have you seen the trailer for it? No, I haven't.
Oh, the animation for it is amazing.
I'll have to check it out because I did have somebody come in the stream and tell me about it, and they were saying, it looks really good. So
it'll probably be a superhero movie of the year for me. So far, they haven't been that good.
Yeah, I
might get a lot of flack for saying that.
I'm really behind. I'm really, really behind. Like, I've got to get caught up on them. My pick right now would probably be like, it'd be Black Panther, but like I didn't really enjoy it. It wasn't really that good. It's really overrated. I liked it. I thought it was good.
I think it's okay.
At the same time, what I will say is this. I sound like I don't want to sound too liberal here because I'm really not. Yeah. So please don't get that impression from me because I'll let you down later on. I guarantee you that if you're thinking that I'm one of those types. But I said that like, and I really feel like I said that in a bad way. It's not a bad thing to be liberal. Like I wish I was because believe me, I wouldn't get in as many arguments. But yeah, like going back to representation, I think Black Panther was really intriguing going to a movie theater because my wife's black, so it was a big deal for her. Yeah, and everyone in her family went and saw it. People in her family that never go to the movies went and saw it. And then when we went to the movie theater, it was maybe the second day it had come out. And I was in this movie theater, and I'm looking at some of the people that were going to this movie, and I'm like, they look like they haven't gone to a movie theater in 20 years. Like, these are people that you do not typically see. The people that would wait for it to come out. Yeah. So I thought it was really refreshing to see the African American community come out in droves and support this movie.
I went opening night, and there was plenty of people wearing African garb.
Saw a lot of that too, and I thought it was incredibly cool.
But I don't know. I feel like it's a blaxploitation movie at the end of the day.
You know, it's an interesting thing.
Because one of the main characters is literally they have Black Panther. The other one, he's a gorilla, and he makes gorilla noises in the movie.
It's a fair point.
And I'm pretty sure that's not in the comments. I don't know. But, like...
At the end of the day, the only thing that... Because So, first off, you're talking to... I mean, just look at me if you're watching the video version. If not, just picture one of the palest guys you know, and I'm probably about that color. Okay, so like I'm definitely
paler. That's me.
Yeah, like this might be the whitest podcast you know. Okay, like it could definitely be. Yeah, so this is definitely not something that I can really speak to. But what I will say is I don't know a single person who's black or African American, whatever you want to say, that didn't like the movie or didn't feel like it was a plus for representation. My wife loved it. We bought it on Blu-ray. We have it in the 4K Blu-ray. Like, all of her friends loved it. I didn't know a single person who was displeased with it. And at the end of the day, I think that's really all that matters, I guess, to me.
I mean, I guess, like, I don't know. I just felt uncomfortable when he was making gorilla noises. I was just like, man, did they even think at all when they were making this movie forcing an actor to make gorilla noises?
How funny is it that at that moment you're probably the whitest guy in that movie theater and you're the only one offended?
I'm the only one offended. Like, offended. I'm not really offended for no reason. I'm just like, did the director or anything just think for a second?
I know.
Because the director's black too. What's his name? He directed Fruitvale Station. Oh my god.
I'm trying to remember the guy's name, but I'm not going to come up with it. But I know who you're talking
Ryan
about.
Coogler.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't even say anything about it. Like, I don't know. I feel like this isn't my fight to fight.
It isn't. It certainly isn't, Andy. Luckily, you don't have to worry about it. You know.
Yeah.
But okay, well that.
I mean, speaking of racism against white people,
here we go. What is this a segue into?
The new Purge movie.
Okay.
It's really racist. Like, completely racist.
How so? I would love to know because so first off, I want to go full disclosure here. I saw the first Purge movie, didn't like it, never saw another one.
Well, this one's called The First Purge. Fun fact.
Isn't this one, from the looks of the trailer, it looks like it's a prequel. Okay.
It's the very first Purge.
Could you explain how it's racist?
All right, so the whole movie, I haven't seen it. This is from me, like, walking in and hearing people talk about it. The whole movie's about blacks killing cops. And then the KKK comes out of nowhere. And it's blacks versus the KKK. Like, the whole movie.
I gotta say, man, that's...
Like, I haven't seen it, but, like, that's what it's about.
You know, it's interesting you bring that up because in a weird way, I could see somebody approaching it and saying this is racist.
Yeah. I mean, it was all over Twitter. That's where I got it from.
At the very least, I would say that it's stirring the pot in a malicious way. And
the movie has an obvious political agenda that they don't hide at all.
Well, that's what I came away from the first one with, because in the first movie,
they're all political movies.
It did come across that way to me. Like, so I saw it with somebody, and not my wife. Okay, I want to be very clear here. So Ashley, if you're listening, I love you. You're very smart. I'm not talking about you. I watched it with somebody who I don't think was the type to look beneath the surface, if you will. Not someone who would read between the lines in a movie, so to speak. So watched it with her, and like I came away from it going, this is kind of a gigantic metaphor for gun control. Yeah. Like that's kind of what I came away with was, well, you know, if we give too much civil liberty, look at how it'll go crazy. And as I hit my mic. But like I just left the theater and I go, well, it wasn't a very good movie, number one, on the surface. Number two, if you know me, huge Second Amendment supporter. If you're not, that's totally cool.
Yeah.
I have no problem with you personally. It's just my own personal beliefs. I'm a real big person on liberty. And I felt like that movie, in a weird way, was kind of pitching this idea of, well, this is what can happen if we give too much liberty. And, I mean, it's taking it to an extreme. So,
Yeah.
I didn't watch the second one again because I really didn't care for the first one. Political message
They're all
aside,
not good.
yeah, like I've watched a lot of movies that have political messages that I completely disagree with, but been entertained because I do like to see the other side of things. Like I think it's very important to know and be cognizant of the argument that you may not agree with. So, no problem with that. But I just thought on the surface, it's just not a good movie.
So you're talking about the Purge.
Yeah, so we had a slight delay there. If you're wondering why there's a cut, that's why Andy's PC crashed. We're gonna start We're starting a GoFundMe, dude. We're gonna do this. We're gonna crowdsource you getting a new PC.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, saw the first one. Didn't really care for it. Even though the political undertones were not something I agree with. I just didn't think it was entertaining. Had nothing to do with that. But yeah, third one looks, or fourth. What is it? Fourth now? Is it the third one? Oh, God, they've made 4 of those?
Yeah.
I never thought they'd make another one. I remember leaving the movie theater and going, there certainly won't be a sequel for that.
Yeah, there's 4. There's Anarchy, Election Year, The First Purge, and The Purge.
God, between God's Not Dead and The Purge, these are 2 movies that totally different types of movies, but
yeah,
got some legs to them.
They do good at the box office.
They do good.
Their main focus is teenagers and teenage. The concept of it is really cool. But it's too much of a political agenda that they push the entire movie.
I agree with that. Well, we'll see how it does. Maybe it'll make money. Maybe it'll be the next Big Mama's House. I never thought they'd make 3 of those either. But they did, and they all made money.
Tyler Perry movies do good.
Well, that's another one that mystifies me, but they're low budget.
Oh, wow. I just completely mixed up Big Mama's and
Medea?
Yeah, Medea.
They're very similar.
Yeah.
It's still a man in drag.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough about that. The Medea movies are funny though, and they're low budget and they make money. So more power to Tyler Perry, who has built a small empire. Although I do wish he would pay his writers a little bit better. That's the one thing that I don't like about the guy. So moving on, I wanted to ask you. I figured this would be a good topic since we're talking about entertainment here. Little bit of a backstory here. So, I don't watch UFC religiously. I do enjoy the occasional pay-per-view. Don't follow the sport with any sort of regularity, but I do know a decent amount about it, right? Meanwhile, Andy, obviously, as you can see from the shirt, if you're watching the video form of the podcast, is very into UFC. And conversely...
I'm not that big into it, but...
Well, you watch every pay-per-view, I think.
I see you
tweeting about them.
Yeah.
I see you live tweeting pay-per-views for UFC, and that means you're a true fan.
Yeah.
So
I'm live tweeting. So
yeah, if you're not live tweeting, you're not a real fan. Anyway, inside joke there. Anyway, it still makes me laugh. So conversely, WWE pro wrestling, as that's concerned, I'm a hardcore fan, right? Just one of the hardest. Watch Raw, SmackDown every week. Watch all the pay-per-views, all that. Andy, not so much. He follows it, but not religiously. So I thought this would be a good topic for us to discuss. Brock Lesnar in the UFC shows up on Daniel Cormier. Is it Cormier or is it Cormier?
Cormier.
Okay, Cormier.
From DC.
I believe he's the second guy. I think McGregor was the first. He's the second guy to hold 2 weight class titles
at the same time.
Yeah, which to me, is there a more badass accomplishment on the planet than saying I own he's light heavyweight and heavyweight champion, right?
I don't really like it for the sport of one guy holding 2 belts.
Agree with that.
legacy wise, yeah, it's badass.
To
But
be
then
able to say that would, to me, that's like if Mayweather were to go to a different weight class and win
yeah, I
in
mean, it's very
boxing.
popular in UFC switching weight classes,
Yeah.
but like
But two at the same time.
the everyone like Cormier, he's like I'm the greatest of all time, but he still hasn't beat John Jones, the greatest of all time in my opinion. I mean,
But
he has one loss, steroids or not.
okay.
His one loss. His one loss is because he beat the guy so hard he got disqualified. And his resume is absolute stellar, John Jones. And so John Jones called out Brock Lesnar after he beat DC.
Okay.
And then DC goes out, beats Stipe Miocic. And then so John Jones hinted at, oh, I want to fight Brock Lesnar in heavyweight. And DC
Okay.
goes, wins the title. Everyone's like, okay, DC versus John Jones, number 3 for the heavyweight title. But instead, DC calls out Brock Lesnar, which is the big money fight,
Okay.
which is smart for his career because he'll probably make more money in that fight than he's ever made in like accumulatively before the Adidas sponsorship with
Yeah.
UFC. To be fair,
Do
'Cause
you
Adidas
think
don't pay the fighters at all, basically.
okay. Do you think from a UFC perspective, do you think it's good for the sport or bad for the sport that Brock Lesnar showed up, got in the ring, pushed him?
Uh,
Because
Brock Lesnar
I've had
is
quite a
good,
few UFC fans tell
but-
me that they felt it was hokey.
yeah, it seems a bit like some people are like it's like, oh, UFC's turning into WWE. This is like fake. But then again, Brock Lesnar is a psychopath, so I feel like it could have been real because just Brock Lesnar's an insane person.
I think
Brock
you've
Lesnar, if
got.
you're listening to this, I didn't say that.
I mean, I don't think he would. I don't think he would disagree with you. He's a little insane to fight in the UFC, to be a professional wrestler, to try to go to the NFL. I mean, look at what he's done and accomplished. Like, you have to be
The youngest heavyweight champion in WWE history.
at the very least insanely passionate about what you do. There is some level of, like, that's maybe a little unhealthy to some people. I wouldn't say so. I think he's one of the greatest athletes of his era, period.
Have you seen the size of his hands? Just the size of his hands.
They're like meat hooks.
Yeah.
The only guy I've ever seen that had more impressive hands in the UFC in terms of size was Carwin. Carwin had gigantic fists that I don't think humans should have. But so you felt overall good for the sport, right?
The fight itself, yes, but like the way it was announced,
Okay.
it kind of bad. Like that's not like I don't know. I'm not trying to say things to offend people, but like in the grand scheme of things, from looking on the outside, looking in, WWE is like the child version, and UFC is like the rated R version of the same thing.
Okay.
And this move makes it look more childish.
Okay. That's a fair point. I guess I was looking at it from more of a cold and object. So first off, and maybe this is because I'm a WWE fan more than a UFC fan. Like, there's no question about that. And say what you will about me being a pro wrestling fan. Like, I realize the outcomes are predetermined, all that.
Yeah.
I still think they're tremendous athletes, as proven by Brock Lesnar and guys like Bobby Lashley, Alberto Del Rio.
It's probably the hardest sport in the United States.
It's got to be.
No off days. Every week. Well, obviously, there's people like Brock Lesnar that don't fight every week. But like John Cena in his prime, that takes a toll on your body.
It does.
Every week, nonstop.
It does.
Constantly.
It
and then
does.
you have house shows on top of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, as a WWE fan, I think this is terrible for the WWE.
Yeah.
Only because as a fan, it looks like the guy that has the biggest belt in WWE, the Universal Championship, is showing up at UFC and doesn't bother to show up at Raw. And I understand that he negotiated a deal with WWE for limited appearances and limited matches and so on and so
He's also the
forth.
most paid athlete.
He is, and he's only under contract for one more fight, and it looks like that's going to be at SummerSlam, and I would not be surprised if somebody beats him for the championship, and that's literally the end of Brock Lesnar in WWE, because he's not going to be able to come. If he's going to fight, I've heard that the projection has him, because he has to go back in the USADA testing pool.
USADA.
They said, well, okay, there you go. Apparently he's got to be in that, and then the earliest he could fight was maybe January.
There's rumors for November.
Rumors for November. So, like, my thing...
November at Madison Square Garden.
So, my thing is, like, he's not going to be able to commit any time to WWE. Once he's in once he's on that training regimen, like, there's just no way he's going to be able to do it. And it would be unfair to ask him to do anything else. So, I think he's going to do one more match at SummerSlam, and that's it. But I think it's terrible for WWE that, you know, he seems more interested in UFC than the guy who's... the people who are paying him right now. But that's aside. As a wrestling fan, I hate this.
He is... Well, not right now, but he's the LeBron James of the fighting world. He's the biggest free agent. He's the biggest name right now.
He's the biggest draw, in my opinion.
Guaranteed money. If you have him wherever, you're getting money.
So I did some little research going into this, because as bad as this is for WWE, being a WWE fan, I think that this, as a casual UFC fan, at best, I would say that I feel like this is the best thing for UFC. Because their pay-per-view buy numbers have been significantly down lately. And
pay-per-views have been pretty bad recently.
And when you look at the top 10 pay-per-view cards in terms of buy rate for the UFC, Brock Lesnar was a headliner in 3 of those. And then when you look at the rest of the list, it's McGregor. So it's the 4 McGregor fights, right? You got Lesnar, Carwin, Rousey, Holm, Rousey, Nunez, Ultimate 2008.
Is McGregor Josie on there? Or McGregor Aldo, I guess we'll say.
It is. That's number 5.
That fight was like 8 seconds long.
And then you got Lesnar, Velasquez.
Yeah.
Rampage Jackson versus Evans. I forget Evans' first name.
Right. Reggie? No. I think of Reggie Evans, the former Alabama linebacker.
You know what? That's number 11, so we don't even need to discuss it. But I think it's kind of impressive. Well, and here's Rashad my take. Rashad Evans, which was a great pay-per-view, by the way. I saw that one. McGregor, you know, he threw a thing through a bus. He's probably not going to fight in the UFC anytime soon. I think he'll be back, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon.
Way before. It's going to be forever.
So he's got 4 of those.
As a UFC fan, I would want it to be Khabib versus Tony Ferguson, actually, for the title. Winner faces Conor McGregor. Will it happen? Probably not.
So I'm looking at this top 10, and I'm going, well, McGregor has 4. There's one in here, UFC 100. I don't even know who headlined that, right?
That was a while, years ago.
Yeah, it was 2009. So, I mean, I'm looking at it, I'm going, McGregor has 4. UFC 100's 1. Lesnar has 3 of the top 10.
And Rousey's on there, I'm
saying. And then Rousey is the rest. So Rousey's not coming back, right? So that one's gone. That was your star. And I know she faced people. I know that all these people faced other people, but I'm just saying right now, Nate Diaz is not selling pay-per-views. I'm sorry, he doesn't. He doesn't sell it to casual fans, I should say.
The big names is Conor McGregor, Brock Lesnar. John Jones, I would say, is a big name, but he's not fighting either. They're all not fighting. Someone that should be a big name is Demetrius Johnson. He's pound for pound probably the greatest fighter of all time.
Yeah.
Realistically.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have as good as a resume as John Jones, but he's not that big of a draw. But all their big names are getting in trouble.
Yeah, so I mean, like, there's not a whole lot of big names that they have. UFC, one thing that they really haven't done a great job of in bigger quantity, right? So, like, they created Ronda Rousey, they made her into a star, right? Yeah. Some of that is Ronda Rousey's personality, right? Some of that is her. But they haven't done a great job of creating stars that sell pay-per-views. And I'm talking about 1 million plus, right? Because every pay-per-view that we talked about sold 1 million plus. And to date, there's only roughly, I'm just looking at this, it looks like there's about 15 that have sold 1 million plus overall in UFC.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the
like
top
$100
10.
each.
So I just think that this is a great move for UFC. And then additionally, what I will say is this. As a wrestling fan, I feel like there's not a lot of overlap. Like, I don't think there's a lot of WWE fans that are big UFC fans. I don't think there's a huge overlap there. All my friends that are UFC fans are former wrestling fans. And all my friends that are wrestling fans, they kind of maybe dabble in UFC here and there, but that's the most. Yeah. I will say this. I will watch this pay-per-view. Like, every Lesnar pay-per-view there has been, I've found a way to watch it one way or another. So I think that UFC, UFC,
find things.
What?
You can go to Reddit and find things.
See, I don't like doing that, man. I like going to a bar. I'll usually go to a bar, and I'll catch it there. They usually, there's usually a few that, do it for, $5 cover, $10 cover. There's a few that, as long as you buy stuff like food, they waive the cover fee, things like that. I mean, there's so many places to watch it down here in the Orlando area. Anyway, I thought I'd get your take on that. That was actually pretty interesting.
I will say one thing. It's good if he just chooses one, sticks to it.
No, I agree with you there. I think that he should, honestly, I feel like, how can I put this? When he signed the last contract with WWE, he was on ESPN. I don't know if you remember this. He was on SportsCenter to make the announcement. It was a big deal. And WWE hyped it up. UFC hyped it up.
Yeah.
And in that interview, he said something to the effect of, I'm not saying I'll never go back to the UFC, but this was a really good offer that I couldn't refuse. I feel like he made his money, which I'm fine with. Like, in the words of the great Baron Davis, go get your money, dog, right? Go get the money, make your money. But now that he's done that, now that the WWE contract is up, like, just...
he's also an old man.
Well, I mean, so is Cormier. He said he only wants to fight one more year.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're gonna have this match, you got to do it now. And
it's gonna print money. Anyone thought of. Well, there has been rumors. I know you don't like looking into the rumors of WWE. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
There's been rumors for a while that Brock is coming back to UFC.
No, that's
all like a year or so.
That's not even necessarily just a rumor. Like, they've been making it into a storyline. Yeah. They've been heavily hinting at, like, Brock might go back to UFC. Yeah. There was a UFC pay-per-view, I forget where it was, but it was actually in the same city that WWE had just been in.
Yeah.
And Lesnar stayed. Either that or he showed up early, like WWE was going to be there in a little... There was like a little bit of an overlap. They came really close to being in the same city. And I remember Lesnar showed up at the pay-per-view, and he was like... he had dinner with Dana White, and WWE piped it up. They're like, well, this is great. People are talking about this guy who's in... So they've been kind of hyping up, making a storyline out of it. So it's no news to me. But I appreciate that because, I kind of wanted to get a take from somebody who's more of a UFC fan.
There is one thing that I would love to see.
What's that?
Brock Lesnar takes the belt and Lex Luger's it on UFC.
Lex Luger's it.
He takes it I think it's Lex Luger. He was on Monday Night Raw and it was pre-taped. And the same night he was on Nitro and he threw the belt in the trash.
So that was Medusa.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. It was a WWE women's wrestler. Lex Luger did not do the same thing.
He was on both shows in one night.
I promise you, he did not.
I swear he was on both shows
Rick Rude was on both shows in one night.
Lex Luger
famously was on WWE TV, and then he showed up at WCW Monday Nitro a week later.
I'm pretty sure it's the same night.
No, it wasn't. I promise you, dude. I promise you. 10-year-old Alex remembers it happening.
19-year-old Andy swears by this.
And I remember I watched it live, and I remember going back and watching it again. Believe it or not, I've gone back and watched that Nitro at least 2 times.
Yeah.
And it was a big surprise because he was literally on WWE TV within the last couple weeks, and they thought he was still coming back. because they famously, Vince McMahon believed that Lex Luger and him had a handshake agreement that he's coming back.
Yeah.
And he signed and he showed up on the very first Monday Nitro, which was held in the Mall of America. And I remember at the time thinking, no way. Lex Luger's in WCW? It was just this big, it was a big coup for WCW at the time. I hope personally he does not have the belt by the time, the WWE belt that is, by the time he fights. I couldn't imagine. The belt's not on TV at all. It's terrible that the world's champion for Raw is not on TV.
Yeah.
But maybe once every couple months, that kind of thing. Right now, they supposedly have him booked for one more match and then one Raw appearance after that match. So it's going to be interesting to see how WWE plays all this out. But nevertheless, really interesting to get your take. So moving on from Brock Lesnar and me being a new UFC customer that's going to apparently somehow watch or buy another pay-per-view. Just like the last one, I think it was UFC 200. Was that his last one where he faced Hunt? I think it was, right?
Mark Hunt,
yeah. That was the last UFC pay-per-view. Yeah, that was the last UFC pay-per-view I watched in full. But anyway, let's move on to our next topic.
Was that 200?
I believe it was 200.
You passed it. It doesn't matter.
What's your next topic this week, Andy? We covered mine. I don't have a good segue into yours.
I mean, I guess we can hop into it. So I've been playing Pokemon, childhood favorite of mine, Pokemon Fire Red. But what's a game that you would like to play from your childhood, which would be pretty interesting because you are old.
Got to do that. Got to get that in there.
Sorry.
Once an episode.
Throw my jab.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see your take because you're.
So I recently got the mini SNES.
Yeah.
And I got that for Christmas. Yeah. I think we talked about this last week. I think we talked about the mini SNES.
Yeah, we did. Right there.
So you're so proud of your box. So one game that I've thought about doing a series on my channel from my childhood is Super Mario RPG for the SNES. Yeah. And the reason why is there was a time when there was no internet. I know it's hard to believe for a lot of our listeners out there, but there was no internet. So when I had an SNES, every once in a while, I would ask my parents all the time. Probably so much, and by my parents, I mean my mom and my stepdad. But I would ask them constantly if I could go rent a video game from Blockbuster, because that was like the big.
What's Blockbuster? I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm
kidding. Some people listening might legitimately have that question.
Two things that some people. One, they don't know what Blockbuster is. That one a time before the internet.
Exactly. So Blockbuster, if you don't know, was a gigantic chain of movie stores where you could rent movies and video games, and you could do like they had 2-day rentals, 3-day rentals, 5-day rentals, and video games. You know, they had those, and God, it's so crazy. It was such a fun and cool experience for my childhood. I'm kind of sad that kids won't be able to do that. Because you would go to well, it's not the same though, because you would go to Blockbuster and they would have hundreds of games.
I have a place like that. Maybe national chain. It's called Family Video.
I know that one. Yeah, they have a couple down here, but you would go there.
The same scale.
No, definitely not the same scale. And you would go and you would have hundreds of games, and they would used to have PlayStation and Xbox and. All the systems. But back in the SNES days, they had, NES, SNES, Genesis. And I remember I always wanted Super Mario RPG, but they literally only had one copy and it was never there.
Yeah.
And one day it was. And I got the game and I was really excited. And I got 3 days. and I got pretty far in. And there's a point in the game where you're like on a ship or something. I don't really remember all the specifics. Yeah, there's a point in the game where you're on a ship and it asks you a riddle. Yeah. And you can't go any further in the game until you answer that riddle. Yeah. And I sat there and I racked my brain forever, and I never figured it out.
You type it in, or it's like multiple choice?
You had to type it in.
Yeah.
Like a keyboard would come up and and I never figured the riddle out. So you remember the riddle? The rental was The rental was completely wasted because I got to that point in the game and I couldn't go any further. And I was really upset. So I want to go back and I want to experience it. I want to play it. So that's going to be my answer. Because I know I was told I was told that I could not pick Sonic for this question, by the way. So if you're wondering why did Alex not pick Sonic, that's why. What's the answer?
I found it out in like 4 seconds.
What's the riddle?
I'm trying to find that. That's the part.
Okay. It was something about a ship or like...
It's in the sunken ship.
Yes. It was okay. And it was something, and it was like, you could tell it was asking like something that was like a pun of sorts, maybe. Had something to do with maritime stuff.
All right. I found a walkthrough video.
Oh my goodness, Andy, we don't have time for this.
I'm trying to figure the riddle. It's important.
Is it important?
Yeah, for context. I don't think there's a riddle. I think you just have to type in the password.
No way. Don't tell me there's a password.
It says sunken ship.
What is the password for the sunken ship?
It's pearls.
It's pearls. It asks you a question, though.
From what I'm seeing, it doesn't.
I seem to remember it asking
sunken ship
some kind of
password is discovered if you got all the clues in the room and figured out that you're figured out on your own. You know the password is pearls. Just spell it out with the correct blocks and get ready for a fight. But make sure you have the game saved. You do not need to have gotten all the clues to type in the password.
Well, there you go. I didn't know how to figure that out as a kid. There was no internet to look it up. So
also speaking, how many days you say the rental was?
Oh God, back then I think you could rent it for 3 days max.
And according to a website I frequent all the time, howlongtobeat.com, that game takes about an average of 16 and a half hours to beat.
That'll be a pretty good playthrough then.
Yeah.
I'll get maybe about 64 episodes out of it. So obviously we know your answer. One of them will be Pokemon.
Pokemon Fire Red.
What's another game? Like if you had to pick one that you had to play from your childhood.
I didn't really think about this until now.
Just off the cuff. Because I kind of went off the cuff.
Yeah. Ooh, what was that? I did a video on it. Simpsons Hit and Run. Great game.
Well, that's a good choice.
That's not gonna be my answer though.
Okay.
What's a for some reason, all right, I have to Google the name of it. I don't know the name of it. But it's the very first game I beat, and I'd like to see how it was. But the very first game I beat, first I want you to make a guess of what's the first game I ever beat. I'll give you the console N64.
N64, first game you ever beat.
Yeah. There's no way you're gonna guess it.
Ooh, because I was gonna say Banjo-Kazooie.
No. I've never ever talked to you about this game or anyone.
GoldenEye?
It's a Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue.
I didn't even know there was a Power Rangers game on the N64. I thought those were all PlayStation 1.
Yeah. That'd be interesting to play again because it's the first game I ever beat.
You know, that is a dangerous thing to do, though. I don't know how much you've done this because you're not really that old.
I'm 19.
Yeah. Like, have you ever had that experience where you go back? I almost like had a little bit of an experience like this with Super Mario RPG. I just looked at a screenshot of Super Mario RPG and I'm like, I remember it looking better than that.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not like, first off, I'm still gonna go back and play the game because I'm talking about it now, and I know the friggin' password, so I can finally get past that part. Thanks, Andy. But like every once in a while, I'll go back to a game and I'll be like, wow, this did not age well. Like the gameplay, the graphics, all that. Like I've had quite a few experiences like that. Have you?
Yeah, I played old consoles. Like I don't know, it's weird. For me, the SNES games are like Super Mario World, beautiful. Like still today is amazing.
It
On
is.
the
It
classic.
is. That's definitely an exception to the rule. Because when I went back and I played
Like
that with Ashley, she was having a ball with it, and I was too.
a lot of games on the SNES Classic are surprisingly like amazing looking.
First Star Fox game. I remember
I
it being amazing
yeah.
and looking amazing, and it still plays well. It's still a very good gameplay
The
experience.
game,
But the graphics are tough to look at.
you know, I don't have like a game that I went back to, but there's a game that I can't play because the graphics are so bad. The Oblivion, I try to play it. Like I got into Elder Scrolls and Skyrim. I went back to play Oblivion. That game is hideous.
See, that surprises me because I think that Oblivion still looks good today. But
No.
I get it. I get it. And I'm saying that, by the way, I'm saying that as someone who finished playing Oblivion, like I was completely done and had beaten Oblivion and the expansion and done like everything there. I was obsessed with Oblivion at one point.
I was
obsessed,
completely obsessed with Skyrim.
Obsessed with Oblivion. And I still to this day, it's one of my favorite memories of Xbox 360. I think it might be one of the best Xbox 360 games of all time. And here's the thing about Oblivion that just just blows my mind, dude, is that game came out really early in the 360 life cycle.
Yeah.
And it was really good. But I mean, I remember it being really good, but I finished that game in like '06, dude. So I haven't picked up Oblivion.
Don't look at it.
I'll probably just leave it up here because I did everything there was to do with it, but I was obsessed.
Skyrim, this may make you feel old. 6th grade when it came out.
Yeah.
And the summer of 6th grade going into 7th grade, I spent like the whole I think month of July. Like I played games like religiously. Every day, got home from school, play Call of Duty. That's all I did was play COD. I spent the whole month waking up, going to bed, playing Skyrim for like a month.
Those games are really immersive.
Like before that summer, I wasn't socially awkward or like anything like that. This is really weird, but I didn't talk to anyone for like a month. And then after that, I was just like a little quiet kid.
So basically, Skyrim ruined your social life.
I mean,
that's what
really.
you're saying? You should sue them.
I prefer it now because, I mean, I don't think it was really Skyrim. It's more like that summer I gave less and less craps about other people, I guess, if we're keeping this PG.
Interesting.
I started to not care about other people's opinions at a young age.
It's fair. I think it's important at a young age, because I didn't realize it until I was probably mid-20s.
Yeah.
I think there's a balance. I think that you don't want to live your entire life like fixated on what other people think of you.
Yeah. I mean, I acknowledge it.
But at
like,
at the same time, I don't buy, okay, and I'm sure there's people out there listening that are like, screw you, Alex. I live my life that way. Don't tell me how to live my life. Yeah. I'm not telling you how to live your life if you're out there one of these people like that, but I don't believe people when they say, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I don't believe that. I don't believe it at all, because I sit there and I go, in my life, I care. Do I care about what a lot of people think about me? No, not at all. Like, I care what my mom thinks about me. You know, I care. I want my mom to be proud of me. You know, that's a big driving force in my life. I feel like I should do right by her because she's done so much for me. And if you're out there listening and you're not on good terms with your mom, you know, maybe try to fix that. Like, me and my mom went through a little bit of a rough patch there for a while, and it was over some BS. Your dad. It was same thing. You know, be nice to your mom. She's been nice to you, right? She passed you through her body. So, and your dad played some role. I don't know. He climbed on top of her one night.
I mean, me and you have a different experience, though.
We have it so easy. We have it so easy, man. We have it so easy. I can't imagine carrying something for 9 months.
Oh, I didn't mean like I meant like the parent roles.
No, being a dad's tough.
No, I mean you
being
have
a
it
dad's
different
tough.
than other people.
I did, but
Because
that
you both
wasn't.
didn't grow up with dads.
Well, I mean, it wasn't my dad's fault.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Dad, rest in peace.
Yeah, same.
You died as a hero, in my opinion. But, you know, duty calls. You know,
I feel like it's different if you only have one parent though, because like
it is
appreciate
because
them
like
more.
I feel like I'm much closer to my mom than I probably would have been. Otherwise.
you appreciate them more.
Oh
for
yeah,
them just
dude.
being there
You do.
and then struggling being by themselves.
You
Unless
know-
they remarry, obviously, but
Well, you know, the thing is,
it's not the same.
when my mom remarried, I love my stepdad, and again, rest in peace, Ben. You were a good dude. But
Yeah.
you know, when my stepdad married my mom, I was, oh God, I was, you know, approaching my teenage years, and
Yeah.
you know, I could be a little bit of a. All teenagers do this, man. You know, I could be a little bit of a
rebel.
jerk. I could be a little bit of a jerk sometimes, and I did some stuff that, you know, I probably did deserve to get, you know, punished or whatever. But
Yeah.
my stepdad was really hard on me,
Yeah.
and you know, but I thank him for it now, because God, if my parents weren't hard on me, I kind of wonder if I'd be the person I am today. It's kind of weird how
feel
that
like-
works out. You kind of appreciate it when you get older.
I feel like I escaped my parents without really any punishment though.
See, here's the thing. My mom was really good about finding punishments that worked and were effective. But the times that I got punished were very, very few and far between. But I really had to screw up.
I
But
was a spoiled kid.
yeah. But I love my mom. I love my stepdad. And same thing
Mom
with
and
my dad.
stepdad.
I had a lot of I had 3 good parental figures in my life, and I know most people aren't that lucky, but
Yeah.
The one thing that I will say is this: when I went to school,
Yeah.
I remember kids used to hate me because there's this one girl who came in the class and she's like, "My dad, he won't buy me tickets to Backstreet Boys. I hate my dad. I wish he was dead."
Yeah.
And I remember saying to her, I'm like, "You don't want that." I was like, "You don't know what you're
I
saying.
experienced the same thing.
You
Like-
don't know."
There was one time I was in math class, and they're like, "You gotta get your parents' signature." My teacher's like, "You gotta get your dad's signature." And I was like, "Okay." And she's like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "It always comes out eventually in your classes."
Yeah, I always try to hide it from people, you know.
The thing I don't like about it is people are always like, "Oh, I'm so sorry,"
Yeah.
but like I've already dealt with it. Like it's
I think
don't need
people
you to-
just say it reactionary.
Yeah.
I think they don't know what to say and they just want you to know, like, I care. I think that's where it comes from. I think it comes from a good place.
it makes everything awkward when you bring it up.
It does make it a little awkward, and that's why I don't bring it up until prompted. In fact, when me and Ashley were dating,
Yeah.
Ashley's my wife, if you don't know, if you're new to the podcast, but she didn't know until probably, I think, maybe 3 or 4 months into
Yeah.
we were dating, because I don't want people to feel sorry for me. That's the big thing, because I know my dad. I knew him long enough to where I know he wouldn't want me to. He wouldn't want me to like being pitied for it. Like, he just wasn't that type of dude. And same thing with my stepdad. My stepdad was real big on, like, be proud of yourself, be proud of who you are, be true to yourself, that kind of thing. And
Like when I bring it up, I'm always like bring it up and then like, don't stop.
Yeah.
I've dealt with it. It's been 11 years.
yeah,
Just I said it. Take the information and just leave. Like leave
Yeah.
it alone.
yeah. Like, I still cry sometimes. Like, there's certain times of the year where it's really, like, his birthday is really hard for me. The anniversary of him getting killed is really hard for me.
I think it's worse for my father passed away on his brother's birthday,
Jesus.
and it's like he doesn't celebrate his birthday or anything anymore.
And I think the other thing to me too is, I think what makes it harder, I like, my mom's the strongest person I know. I'm trying not to tear up right now. My mom's the strongest person I know, but like one of the hardest parts about it was seeing what it did to my mom. Like,
Yeah.
it's so hard for me as a son. Like, I love my mom as much as anybody
Mom, I
else on
love
this
you.
world. Yeah, I love you, Mom. I really do. But, like, I love her as much as anybody else on this world. And I'll always respect and cherish and just admire what she did for me and my brother and my sister on her own.
Yeah.
But, like, when you see someone that you respect that much, that's sad about it, you're like, I don't know what to do. And it's the worst feeling in the world because you don't know what to do to make it better. And there's nothing you can do. You just have to be there for them, right?
Yeah,
but, man, like, there were a lot of awkward moments.
But, like, when my mom cries, it's like,
dude, it's the worst. Yeah, can't do it. Can't deal with it. My mom starts crying. I start crying. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Wait, what's going on? Is that the police?
What?
I thought somebody was knocking at your door.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there were a lot of awkward moments.
Podcast.
There were a lot of awkward moments growing up, though. Like, you were talking about the permission slip. Like, I remember there was the bring your dad to school day so he could talk about. And I was like, I don't know who to bring. So, like,
we don't have. We never had that. Like, bring your parent to school.
Yeah,
they had like.
They had that.
Like, show and tell. I guess once in like the first grade.
They had it was like bring your dad to school and like he'll talk about what he does, right? And then they had one for moms too. And I thought it was really cool. Like, as a kid, it was really cool because you're like, oh, this guy's a lawyer, or oh, this guy works at a bank, or oh, this guy is a salesperson or works in insurance, or so like my dad, I'm like, well, he was a firefighter, but he's not here to tell it because he died on the job. Cool thing though, I will say this: there was one guy my dad worked with. His name was Dan, and he was like the coolest dude ever. And he agreed. He was a firefighter, and he's like, I'll go and I'll tell him about what. And I was like, that's the coolest thing in the world. He was a good dude too. He looked out for me and my brother afterwards. But yeah, man. God, I feel like we're ending on a bummer here. Like, Jesus.
How about we change one more topic in light?
Yeah, let's talk about something more lighthearted.
Digital media.
Oh, we're gonna talk about physical media versus digital. Well, we're talking about something that's gonna die apparently. Speaking of dead things.
I mean, you are the Dead Channel duo, so.
Yeah, speaking of death. You know what made me I thought about you this weekend. Not like that, but I was thinking about you when I went to this retro game store. So there's this retro game. They have like 3 locations here in Orlando. So I hesitate to call it a chain, but there's 3 of them here. It's called shout out to them. I don't know if they'll ever listen to it. I'm sure they will. I mean, who doesn't listen to this podcast? Cybertron video games. I almost vlogged it. I was going to do a vlog for it because I should have. I regret that I didn't do them because I left with. What?
You know what I missed from your channel?
What's that?
The whiteboard update videos.
Because I did one of them.
I think you did 2.
I think I did 2. Yeah, you're right. And now you say that, I think I did 2. One was really crappy. The other one I was okay with.
And they both said Sonic 06 on it. We still don't have Sonic 06, Alex.
It's sitting right here by my chair. No lie.
And I'm pretty sure they both also said ukulele. What about ukulele, Alex?
I'm telling you, man, the second half of July, you're going to like what you see on my channel. You're going to like it. I don't know if anybody else will. Anyway, so...
it'll do 1.
I wanted to... Oh, God, I want to do that. But I got so much other stuff I got to do first. Yeah. So, Cybertron video games, it's a little bit of a hop, skip, and a jump for me in terms of location. But... I wanted to vlog it. I didn't vlog it. I wish I did because I went there and I bought so much stuff. I was like, this would have made for a killer video. But while I was there, I was thinking about you, and I'm like, I don't know how much longer we have for this physical game media. Because like I went there and they have NES games. They have Famicom games, Super NES, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Original, all the way up to the current stuff. They sell current stuff too. And it's like the coolest effing store. I almost want to ask them, like, would it be okay if I vlog it and just, like, for maybe a minute, just film inside, just so people can see what it is? I ended up leaving with a copy of Bayonetta, a copy of for 360. Yeah, Bayonetta 1 for 360. I got a copy. I've never played it, so I figured why not. Midnight Club Los Angeles for 360 because I've been dying to play that game again. They had the case is kind of but the disc and the manual are mint. Copy of Psychonauts for the Xbox original. Been trying to find a good copy of that for a while. They had it for $20.
Yeah.
They knew it was worth money, but like that game goes for
the second one's coming out.
Yeah, that game goes for about $17 on eBay. Yeah. And I'm like, I will gladly pay $2, and knowing as I'm holding it there in my hand that it's like mint. So that, and then Ashley got a bunch of DS games. So she got like the original New Super Mario Brothers on the original. It came out with the DS Lite like 10 years ago. Yeah. She got that, Mario Golf, and Super Mario 64, believe it or not, on the original Nintendo DS. But yeah, I just had a blast there. But I was like, after I left, I was like, I don't know if like the younger generation that mostly buys digital games will appreciate this place. Yeah. So I feel like it's almost a dying format. But I prefer physical because it's like I can sell it after I'm done with it. And I also feel like I can get a better price on physical. Generally speaking, I can get a better price on physical than I can on digital.
And it's slowly. Like, it used to be real bad. Like, digital is awful to buy. Just go digital. But it used to be like they would never discount it. Like, every game.
That's true.
Madden 12 would be $60 right now. Like, Modern Warfare 3 right now is $30. Like, the digital discounts the newer games are getting good.
I remember original Xbox, there was no digital distribution.
Obviously.
In fact, so much so that when they released a map pack for Halo 2, you had to go to the store and buy a disc.
Yeah.
And I remember we would sell the disc for $20 and you could trade it in for $5 at GameStop, and then we would sell it for $17. Terrible idea by GameStop to take those in on trade because nobody wanted to buy them. So we ended up just paying $5 for a paperweight. But nevertheless, that's another GameStop story for another day. I could do a whole podcast episode on GameStop stories. Anyway, from working there for, Jesus Christ, 6 years. Anyway, like, I don't, like, Best Buy, I know they're phasing out the program, but I still get that discount for another year and 13 months right now. Yeah. Brand new game costs me $48, like physical. Digital, it's always going to be $59, or like with EA Access, it's like $54. You know, but you youngins with your iTunes and your digital distribution.
One thing you may not point out, you may have noticed on my stream.
Mm-hmm.
You have all these NDS games and all that N64 games, SNES games you're talking about. You watch my streams, I may or may not play these games through certain ways of not owning the game, which I feel like that you can get the game experience without buying it. Some people may, morally standpoint, not enjoy that.
I don't, but
you know, there's ways to play it. And like, the thing is, for me, it's the same experience, digital and physical. You may see a bunch of cases over there.
Yeah.
But I'll bring that up in a second. Like, digital is like more fun. It really started because I used to buy physical games, and then I would sell them, and I would always regret it instantly the second I sold them. Like, a week later, I'd be like, dang it.
Yeah.
Why did I sell that game?
Why did I sell Barbie Horse Adventures?
Yeah. You know, you get easy 1,000 Gs on that.
Well, I mean, I played the Hannah Montana game on 360 just to get the achievements.
The easy 1,000 Gs.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. By the end of it, I was into it. Like, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I was like, Hannah better get the guy in the end. If she doesn't, what the hell am I playing this for?
The 1,000 Gs in Avatar, I was hooked.
Best of both worlds, man. It's the best of both worlds. That Avatar game, I remember.
Instantly threw away the disc the second I...
Another GameStop story. They used to let us take games home. Yeah. That game came in. There was one copy that I took it home one night.
Yeah.
Pop that game in for 5 minutes, got the like you could literally get the achievements in 5 minutes.
I bought it for $0.01 on Amazon.
That's awesome.
And then I got all the achievements and then threw it away.
Because like I remember I did it, brought it back to the store that day. One of my other employees took it, and so on. Everybody in the store got it. It was like a really bad cold. Everybody got it.
Yeah.
So you're a digital guy, huh? But you know what? Let me take a guess. Can I take a guess on why you buy physical for movies? Just because I've done a lot of research on this, so I want to see if I'm right. Because if I'm right, I'm gonna be proud of myself. Is it because with movies, the digital version is usually streaming it, or it's a digital 2K intermediate that isn't true 4K?
I mean, kind of. Blu-rays are just better quality.
Okay.
Isn't good. Like, fun fact, I don't know if you know this. If you technically watch stuff in Google Chrome, you can't go higher than 720 on Netflix and most streaming apps. Yeah. So, and I have 4K Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which I can't get anywhere besides physically. And also, I don't know, movies are different. Like, on like a rainy day, internet goes out. Just throw in that black one right there. I think I'm pointing at. Throw in the Planet of the Apes trilogy, or next to it all the other Planet of the Apes movies.
So if a young lady comes over your house, right?
Yeah.
You've been dating her for a while. You guys have kissed on the mouth.
We're going places I've never gone before.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
Star Trek Next Generation.
I still don't believe you. But which, by the way, I'm binge watching with my wife right now. She's loving it.
I've never finished it. I've watched it.
Oh, it's good.
I love it. It's a great show, but
I'm so biased.
Long.
Though. I'm biased because I watched as a kid.
Yeah.
So like most of the episodes,
it's a great TV show.
Most of the episodes I've seen once, but I cannot say that I've seen them all. And we've been watching, really enjoying it. But like, let's just say a lady comes over, right? You've been dating her for a while. Do you do Netflix and chill, or do you do Blu-ray and chill?
Well, I've never had a girlfriend over, or a girl at all over. So I don't know the situation. I don't think I have a lot of girl-friendly movies.
I want to ask. I want to ask so many questions right now.
I've been talking about this with like someone at work.
Okay.
But. It's a movie I think everyone should experience. Maybe not a good date movie.
Okay.
But this is my go-to probably if like anyone's like, I don't know what to watch, and I could choose and like they haven't seen it.
Okay.
It's got to be The Shawshank Redemption.
It's a good choice.
It's
a good choice.
The greatest movie of all time, in my opinion. I've seen it like 11 times and I cry every time.
Is it your favorite movie of all time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also think it's the greatest of all time.
That's a good choice. It's a good choice. Wow. I just want to ask so many questions about
Ask them.
The girl talk stuff. Are we doing this?
Oh,
you're willing?
No, we're not.
Okay.
We're not doing that. I'm sorry, talking about the Blu-rays.
No, I just want to know. Any ladies out there in the southeastern region of the United States, if you're looking for a nice 19-year-old young
movies.
If you're looking for a 19-year-old young man that wears a gorilla hat to go out with, Andy's your guy. Look at him. He's really pale.
Really pale.
Really, like, do you like Casper? Casper the Ghost?
Dude, that was my nickname in middle school.
No way. Now I feel bad.
I mean, I don't care. It
wasn't like did they pick on you, or was it just like oh, hey, he's Casper?
I got picked on for content creation.
But that made me sad. That made me sad and angry because like here's the thing, like so when
that's why I don't tell anyone about it.
Dude, when I first started YouTube, I didn't tell people in my personal life that I was doing it.
Yeah.
Because I was afraid that somebody would be like,
go back and just like no one knows, like not even, I guess one person would know, maybe my roommate, but like if I could go back and like just not tell anyone, I would probably go that route.
It's impossible to keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
From my experience, it's impossible to keep it under wraps. Because I really did, and then people started.
Like when people come over and they see this whole setup, I'm like, yeah, I'm a rapper. like as a joke, but like I don't seriously answer what like why do you have an X? They definitely don't know what it's called, but why do you have an XLR mic and 4 monitors and
See, it's
I don't have
impossible
soundproof
because
foam up
when
anymore. But
people
when the soundproof foam was up, the rap thing was actually believable because it looked like a studio. I was like, yeah, I'm a rapper, as a joke. But
I did get a good compliment out of something like that. Somebody came over and they saw my microphone set up, and they're like, "You have a nice voice. Are you on the radio?" And I'm like, "Well, thank you, but no."
that's probably the greatest compliment I've ever received that like stands out to me. I was at work, random day, and someone's like, "You have a good voice. You should probably do radio."
Your voice is pretty. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've gotten used to it, but it is kind of soothing. Like if I have an Andy ATH video on in the background while I'm doing something else, it's not grating. Whereas there's a lot of YouTube content creators where I'll be like, "Oh my god, I need to turn this off." Yo, I don't even know who I'm imitating there, but if that sounds like you, I'm not making fun of you. I'm not.
I doubt they're watching.
Well, you never know when you never know when the Mutt Wieners might be listening. That might be it's got to be the greatest name for a channel ever.
The most underrated.
Oh no! Please don't do that again.
Is that a soothing voice?
No, it's not soothing. Because he does a lot where he'll be like talking like this.
What about Espanol challenges?
And then he'll just go up to like 18, and you're like, whoa! No, I don't remember that.
I feel like I do that though, but like you're always like, like I feel like I scream all the time in my videos.
There was one video, I'm gonna try to imitate this, and it's gonna sound like I'm having a seizure. But Andy got mad because he got killed in Call of Duty. And just somewhere in the middle of the video, he goes, brr, brr, brr.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my god, this is gold. Like I timestamped it. It's out there somewhere if you can find it. I timestamped it. I watched it like a billion times. Then it was like maybe a couple weeks ago. I'm like, I want to hear that again. So I went back, I watched the video and played it again. It was just so good. But like, see, when you do stuff like that, that's funny. Yeah. But when somebody like yells like, that should have been a fumble. Like it was an incomplete pass, bro. Like get over it.
But I feel like I scream like that.
You really don't. You don't scream like when you do. Here's the thing, man. Like getting loud and you're funny. It's funny. So you getting loud and it's you being unreasonable. It's not like, and take it from a guy who has gotten loud and unreasonable in many live streams. But yeah, man. Madden comes soon. I'm looking forward to it. I think
3 weeks today.
I think the time away has been good. I saw one last thing.
Podcast. It's like 2.5.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's on Thursday.
One last thing.
Breaking the fourth wall.
Before we adjourn here.
Yeah.
The Madden loyalty program, they actually did something cool. If you played Madden 16, 17, and 18, you're going to start day one with 3 elite players, and one of those is one of my favorite players in the NFL. Elite is one of the.
Let me guess. What team? What division?
No, I shouldn't even have to narrow it down. You know my favorite players in the NFL.
Is it Mike Evans?
He's not a Buck.
Okay.
So that really narrows it down.
It really doesn't.
Yes, it does. Because you said this in one of my live streams. You're like, it's always those 2 guys. Why is it always those 2 guys on your team? It's a wide receiver.
Oh, Brandon Cooks.
There you go. There's an 83 overall Brandon Cooks with my name on it. Day one, I'm getting that.
Oh, gross.
And then if you
83. Oh my! I forgot leads were that low.
Yeah, but if you have, if you did the NFL replay challenges each week, remember those where you could turn them in and get a golden ticket?
Didn't play the game.
Well, I know you didn't play the game, but somebody blocked me on Twitter over it, so I'm sure you remember that. But Yeah, if you got 16 of those, which I do,
Yeah.
you can actually get 2 more NAT 80 plus overall players day one
Yeah.
with those. So I'm gonna have 5 elite. Like I was. By the way, Madden Ultimate Team Twitter. Thanks for liking
5
my.
or loyalty.
Yeah,
Are you buying the Hall of Fame edition?
I am.
That's another one.
There you
Or
go.
2 or 3.
Because
I think it's 2.
Because by the way, I want to give Madden Ultimate Team's Twitter a huge thank you for liking my tweet on Twitter. But I said on Twitter, like, this is what I was talking about when I said that, because I kept saying it in my streams, like, over and over and over again. People kept saying, like, what do you want for Madden 19? I'm like, I want loyalty rewards that mean something.
Yeah.
And these mean something, and it's good, and it, like, this is so encouraging. Like, it has me so hyped for Madden 19, and like, I'm loving that I took a break, a 1-month break, because not only do I get to play Far Cry, but like, I'm coming into this game. Your break's very long. Bears hibernate for less time than your break.
My mutt hibernation.
Now we're calling it hibernation. I love it.
Like 10 months.
I love it.
9 or 10 months. So I quit the game, really. I quit the game before the Thanksgiving program.
I just want you to make content again. I miss your videos. I used to watch the videos every night. And if I didn't watch it every night, I would like double up the next night.
People listening now probably might have seen it if you haven't, but I have a little, maybe it'll focus. You can read that.
Update 2.mp4.
Yeah, that's coming out soon.
I saw DCD podcast on there.
Oh.
I'm just glad we got a proper logo, by the way. I'm not going to go into all the details on that again, but like,
and this overlay,
God.
If you like it,
I
made it.
Oh, Andy with the my overlay was I'm not going to finish that word. Yeah. But it wasn't very good. It was okay. It was something that I threw together. Part of the problem with that overlay too, in my opinion, was we didn't have a logo. So it looked kind of trash, but that was me throwing something together as I edited the video.
Yeah,
last week.
But I think this is about time.
Yeah, man. Let's
leave you off on a couple things. Red Sox are 10-0 in the past 10 games. Most wins in the MLB. You know, they have the most home games the rest of the season. So I mean, and everyone's crapping on them, which is always awesome.
I don't get why, but okay.
Dude, they're so like people hate on them, but they're
the best. Get it. They're playing great.
They aren't healthy either. Dustin Pedroia hasn't played a game.
Yeah, but they're playing great regardless. Yeah. They're getting great performance out of all, Martinez and Betts is
Jumbo
playing.
Dog Martinez.
Yeah, Betts is playing out of his mind. Chris Sale's doing pretty well for him, I think, right? So
Chris Sale's having a monster season.
Chris Sale
I think it's 5 games
freakish.
In a row with 11 plus strikeouts.
Yeah, he's freakish, dude.
Yeah, I think he's the first person since 1938 you start an All-Star game 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Like, he's the AL starter 3 games in a row. It hasn't happened since the 30s.
Marlins still suck. If anybody out there is wondering how my favorite team's doing, they're still pretty bad. So, yeah, we got that. And apparently they're already looking at, they're potentially going to trade. I've seen the rumors that they're going to trade Brad Ziegler. I've seen the rumors that they might trade Realmoto, Starlin Castro, and there was one other guy. There was one other guy, not Justin Bohr. No, I don't think anybody really wants Bohr that much.
Brinson?
No, not Brinson. They're going to hold on to that guy. At this point, you might as well see what you got in him. There's one other player that they were looking at trading anyway. Nevertheless, they stink. Nah, I don't think anybody's going to want him.
Dietrich.
I think people would be interested in Dietrich because he could do a lot of different stuff. But anyway,
Kyle Bearclaw.
No, I don't think they're going to trade him because he's not getting paid anything and he's under team control for a long time. And also, he should be an all-star, by the way.
What?
He should be an all-star.
All right, he's good.
Yeah, he's been good.
But
he just doesn't get many save opportunities.
It's about time we end this. Got any topic suggestions? Make sure you comment down below.
Or questions.
Yeah, if you're on iTunes, give us that 5-star if you enjoyed, please. That'd be awesome.
We have one right now. It's 5 stars. Yeah. So that's gonna be it, man. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you next week, Andy.
All right, see you, man.
Bye.
Next time on the DCD podcast show.
So terrible
Deuce.
with the abuse.